There's another thought in my head. I would explain, but my ego says otherwise. What's up, everybody? This is Purple Sapphire speaking to you guys, and I have another Sapphire thought for you guys. So, what does your ego say when your mind says something that you wanted to say, and then your ego says something else? I'm pretty sure some people had that, but for me, honestly, I had that in a daily basis. Sometimes my ego will go, oh, say this, and then my mind says, ooh, say that. I wanted to think what my mind thinks, but my ego says otherwise. And I keep repeating what I had to say because I am not good at explaining things. So, I apologize if I repeat some stuff, so this is pretty much what I had in mind. So, yeah, mind and ego, they're both two separate things. I mean, your ego is pretty much what your other side wants, and your mind is like your personal side, your actual side, the side that you're actually on. And all of a sudden, this whole mind and ego fight inside of me is gone a little bit berserk right now. I did say that my ego is pretty much the dark side of me because of my depression problems and this whole thing. I'm pretty sure that everyone else has that kind of situation upon themselves, but it's kind of a bit of a long story. But if you haven't seen the story yet, I suggest you could do that if you want. Like, it's not much of a deal for me right now because I already got the whole truth out. But that doesn't mean anything right now. But all of a sudden, I'm still having those like depressing thoughts onto my head, and my ego wants to drive me nuts. It's like my mind and my ego can't cooperate, and I have no idea what to focus right now. And sometimes I act like some kind of daydreamer or something like that, because my ego always daydreams a lot. And I'm trying to let my mind focus, but my ego says, nah, daydream. I might as well daydream instead of focusing on something that is more important than whatever in store. And then I was like, what the heck are you saying? Just stop with my mind. I don't know. I feel like there's like one angel and one devil onto my shoulder. And then it was like, oh, don't do it. You just can't do it. And then your devil says, just do it. I mean it. I mean, you gotta do something. I mean, it's really fun being evil. And you never know. You kind of like it. Sure, I kind of like being evil, but I don't want to be that evil. Like, I still want to maintain my respect, my generosity, my... I don't know what else I'm going to think of, but I'm going to go with happiness for some reason. Sorry. I think of some random nonsense, but my ego says, what in the world are you saying? Just say this. And then all of a sudden, everything just starts to go all haywire. And then they start arguing each other. Like, what the heck? Mature properly! Well, I'm not an adolescent, so it makes sense for me to be thinking about this lately. But the realization is that I have an inability to focus that much because my ego wants to daydream really so much that it probably just doesn't realize what reality was. And to be honest, that was pretty much a perspective onto whatever my ego says. And then all of a sudden craziness starts to happen and so much crap has happened. And every once in a while, I make some mistakes. A lot of mistakes. Every time when I have to make a mistake, my mind says, oh, it's his fault. I have nothing to do with it. And then your ego's like, don't say that. Just admit that you're like doing this. And then all of a sudden I have to start listening to my ego say, okay, I did it. I did it. It was my responsibility. It was my mistake. I'll clean it up totally. And then all of a sudden I get into trouble and get detention. Which is not possible for me because that's not actually the kind of person that I am. And to be honest, if I have done something wrong, they will always blame someone else. I mean, I do have a good reputation, but that doesn't mean that good girls can become bad. Well, it's not actually true, but I'm pretty sure it may be something else. So basically, I have no idea what in the world am I saying right now because my mind is just woken up And to be honest, I'm recording this in the morning, so it makes a lot of sense because when I speak to my friends, when I do recordings, when I talk to myself often, I always remember what I'm going to say, and what my mind says is actually true. But when I'm on camera without a script, or when I'm doing a presentation without it, you might consider it to be one of the person who is extremely anxious about doing this. Not the anxiety that comes from presentations, it's just that it's the nervousness that you get. And that's pretty much true, actually. And I don't know why I'm off topic right now, but my ego is obviously going off topic. It's just that my mind is going on in two separate ways. It's just that I hate my ego so much that I consider killing it into the core. But it's not that bad. Like, I do have two separate sides, but I don't have a multiple personality kind of thing. Like, I do, it doesn't mean that I actually have multiple personalities. Like, I am part tomboy. That is true. That's one of my personalities. But I also have a weird personality. I also have some kind of other personality that I do not want to talk about. And there's this whole sassy personality that everyone else would even enjoy. I'm being more dramatic onto recordings right now. That's pretty much basic because I'm always dramatic onto some situations, including small situations, which is really stupid. But besides all that, I would say that my mind and my ego are pretty much the kind of people or personalities that I would call them that actually would kind of consider. And to be honest, I'm not quite sure if everything is going to be fine. Like, the mind and the ego are pretty much the same thing. It's just that, well, in psychology, it's just the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. And there's the id. It's like the pleasure principle. And I don't mean it like that. It's just that something that you actually want to do, but risk taking it. And then your super ego is like the opposite of what it is. And the ego is trying to like balance out the super ego and the id at the same time without going into much of a danger zone. I can't remember. It was in a psychology class, but to be honest, I kind of have a vague detail of what to expect. But on the side of that, my ego is pretty much fine within it. I mean, it's kind of used to this recording. But sooner or later, it will go all crazy and figure out what the heck am I saying, so in that case, I apologize. If my mind says something completely stupid, blame my ego. You have no idea. But my ego can be kind of tempting because my ego accepts fame and the kind of person that it is, like I'm better than you, I'm stronger than you, or whatsoever. I don't want to overpower people. Like, people are definitely equal in my perspective because I prefer people who are like the kind of personality that they have. And I treat people equally. The only people that I treat differently is the people who are negative onto people or onto myself. That makes total sense, like, actually. And if they don't meet up with my equalities or something, I can't remember what word it is, but if they haven't like gone through with all of the things that I actually wanted them to do, I would just reject them or ignore them or some other crap like that. It's just that personalities for me is really much different for what I had in perspective. Like, I'm shy. That's true. But that doesn't mean my self-esteem is actually like social anxiety kind of thing. I was anxious to speak to one of my friends onto school hours. That makes total sense because I do have a shyness around me. I do have that shy personality ever since kindergarten has started. But that's pretty much what I had in store. Like, every once in a while, people say that your mind is thinking something else of what you're going to say to that person. And if something blurts out of them, oh boy, you're gonna have some kind of friendship that you do not want to get through of. That is not pretty. But despite of all that, my ego and my mind are pretty much cooperating right now. It's just that my tongue doesn't want to cooperate with me because it does not know how to talk. Well, I'm speaking it, but it's just my vocal cords that's doing it. It's just that my tongue has to figure out something else, and then my mind has to go through with this. I'm pretty sure conscience will be the proper answer, but I don't know. That's my opinion. I mean, if you want to correct me, just correct me. I'll get your feedback, whatever you want. But despite of all that, I might as well say that it's pretty much what I had in store. Like, my mind and my ego are pretty much something else, but that doesn't mean anything else. And I'm pretty sure it's going to happen that way. So in that case, that's pretty much what I had to say. I'm going to do the Sapphire Thoughts as a series, so in that case, I expect you to be thinking about this. I might do it every 2 weeks, I'm not quite sure, but that's going to be the end of today's Sapphire Thoughts. So in that case, thank you all so much for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe if you want to. I'm not going to force you. And this is Purple Sapphire signing off. I'll see you guys in the next video.